Hi, this is Cora Stack here, Dr. Stack again. I'm just wanted to say I'm concerned about harassment. We're experiencing a bit of harassment on this YouTube, and we've identified two individuals, one from the United States, and we're very concerned that this person is doing everything to undermine my credibility on this, and that somebody could be paying them to do this. You know, there could be an undercover, an undercover person that's paid to try and harass me on this. Now, we've managed to identify two, and they have both disappeared, but we're concerned that one in particular is continuing the harassment elsewhere, or it's called smear campaign. So why they're doing it, I doubt. Perhaps it's some kind of obsession, or else there's somebody being paid behind the scenes by somebody who's, who's out to, to stop this campaign from succeeding, or has some other agenda. It's very hard to know when you're dealing with kind of psychopathic individuals. Allegedly, it's very hard to know what their agenda is, but it's malicious. It's very malicious. So, but it could be, that they're, presenting as one person to the outside world, but working for other people, paid, in other words, to harass. And this person writes with capital letters, and when somebody writes with capital letters, that's a sure sign of harassment. I never do that, so I'd never do that to anybody. Write them a note, but never put anything online with capital letters like that. No. So constitutional blind spot. We are following up. This person, we have identified where he's allegedly located, but we don't know where else he's doing the harassment or the smear campaign, but we're very concerned. So that's the situation. So just let me continue there with my constitutional blind spots, accountability at a moment of democratic strain. So this is my latest stocks masterpiece. My name is Dr. Cora Stack. This video explains one idea which is absolutely ingenious in my opinion, and I got it from looking at the sequence of doctrinal and techniques that were applied, in the coming up to myself, finding myself in a hole, what I call it, a hole on the 23rd of October on the eve of the election, and try and figure it out retrospectively. I went into the courts at a particular date, then there was a delay, then things got twisted around like moves in a chess game. One thing was called something else, one thing was called something, one got substituted to another, and then, it was all like a chess game, but I had to map it on to mathematics and then map it on to doctrinal theory, so it became very abstract. So I got this brilliant paper out of it called Constitution, Coherence and Maintenance, and this kind of follows up on that. So this is about real people, though, doing this chess games to people. It's playing mind games, in my opinion. It's mind games with people, and like if you're a mathematician and this, probably people wouldn't expect that you figure it all out, but you had to learn so much about doctrine theory. I mean, I had to come do a PhD in a few weeks. So the video, the thing really fast. So the video explains one idea, constitutional blind spots, moment where important constitution issues never get properly examined, not because they're unimportant, but because timing, procedure, and institutional caution mean they never receive real hearing. Well, one of my last conversations with a professor of mathematics that mentioned me, he said you'd have made a brilliant lawyer. Made a brilliant student of law. So anything he ever said, he would never say something like that unless he saw a talent in a person. And if he said that, so that would be, that's as good as saying you could have made the Supreme Court. In a period of democratic strain, delay is not neutral. Delay becomes a decision. The views expressed here are my own. Well, that's very clear. What democratic strain means. Across many democracies, we're seeing a sustained pattern. This is not just to Ireland now, this is right across many constitutional democracies. Weaker accountability, more concentrated power, declining trust, and more language like capture, corruption, rigged, unaccountable. Often that language isn't about criminality, it's about something else. People feel, even when problems are acknowledged, nothing changes and no effective remedy arrives, no solution. This is what I mean by democratic strain. The system continues to function formally. Elections happen, courts sit, reports are written, but the corrective capacity weakens. They're put on the shelf. There may be recommendations, but they're just, the thing is finished and nothing seems to be done. There's no follow through. or there appears to be no follow-through. Why courts matter so much here? Courts are different from media or civil society bodies because courts have constitutional authority, independence, and the ability to issue binding decisions. So, in theory, courts are one of the strongest tools a democracy has. And there you go. I'm out.